Hey, and welcome back to the Infinite Text. My name is Patrick, and today we're going to continue my actual play campaign. But we're not going to play, we're going to create some characters today, and also a party for them. If you're interested in the other episodes of my actual play campaign using Old School Essentials, you can find them on this channel too. And although I'm using Old School Essentials as the rule set, the general process for making a adventuring party should be viable for any kind of RPG, since it is pretty much system agnostic. Only the character creation process will probably be a bit different compared to other OSR style games, and very different compared to modern RPGs like D&D 5th edition. So just a few words about what we're going to do in this video today. I came up with a process for making adventuring parties on my own, just by experience. And the third step, as you can see on the screen right now, is making the characters for the party. For this, we are going to use the advanced method of Old School Essentials, which are pretty much the bullet points under step 3 in the process. To keep this video from becoming like an hour long or even longer, I'm going to do two things. I am not going to go into too much detail about Old School Essentials mechanics. I'm just going to explain the stuff that is crucial for understanding what we are doing in this video. And if they come up in the following actual play episodes, then I will explain them there and go into more detail. And the second thing is I'm only going to do 2 characters with you on the screen, and then the other ones I'm going to do off screen and come back when I'm done and show you the results, and then we can finish the party. And that's it for the intro for this episode, and I'm going to put myself into the bottom right corner, and then we're going to start making characters and a party for them. I'm going to show a couple of windows on the screen during the video. We have a dice roller, we have the Old School Essentials character sheet, and we have my process document for making adventuring parties, and on the other tab there is the advanced players tome where we have the character creation process in detail. And I think we are good to go. There's one more thing. As you can see in the background, I have a spreadsheet for the party, and we can take a look at that as well. This is an overview tab. We have a tab for the player characters, which we will fill today. And then we have a journal where you can track their progress on an adventure, or like a trek through the wilderness. And then we have an upkeep tab for logging their income and expenses they have. And with this, we are ready to start. I'm going to bring back the process document, and we can see that the first step is to determine the party size. Now you can either roll that or just say it is 9, 10, 12 people. I'm going to say they are 8 people. Second step is determining a party name. For that, I have the, let me show the browser window again. I have Donjon here, and we can just go on like random generator and select, oh no, it's on fantasy name generator, then on fantasy setting, and it's already on adventuring parties. And I like usually click as long as I have to until I find something that I like. Just click a couple of times, and just going to take the lanterns of Selig, and put that into the document here. And the next step is already the character creation, so I'm going to switch over to the advanced players tome of OSE, and we can see the advanced method here. It's not much more complex than the basic method, so let's just get going. The first step is to roll ability scores, and in most OSR style games you roll ability scores by rolling 3d6 down the line, meaning the first 3d6 is for strength, the second one is for like intelligence, and the third one for wisdom, and so on and so on. Just down the line your character's abilities. I'd say let's just go. I'm going to put the sheet in as well, so I can already input that into the sheet. And 3d6. First one is for strength, that's a 12. Next is intelligence, 14. Then we have wisdom, a 15. Oh my god, what a character. Perfect cleric. 13 in dex, okay. That's a +1 for armor class. 14 in con. Am I rolling 3d6? 3d6, yeah. Okay. And then one more for charisma, 12. What the hell? What a character. Okay, so the next step is to choose a race for the character. And I have compiled them into tables here, so we don't have to scroll through the document all the time and you go crazy by looking at that. I left out Drow, Durga, and Deep Gnome because they all have like light sensitivity, and then they get like minus bonus, like a negative bonus for fighting in daylight and stuff like that. So I just left them out. And this table is clearly slanted towards dwarves, elves, and especially humans. I'm just going to roll a d20 to get the race. 1d20, that's a 4, and that's a dwarf. Alrighty. Copy dwarf into the character sheet. Alright. It's not a class, that's the race. And let me put that back to 2-page view. Okay. Next up is the class. So this character seems to be actually perfect for a cleric, and I'm just going to say it's a cleric. Alright. So now we go into the document from OSE and we look at dwarf race. So we get a -1 and a -1 on charisma, +1 on constitution. Okay, so charisma goes down to 11, constitution goes up to 15. They know the following languages. That step comes later, but I'm just going to input them now. And this guy has 14 intelligence, so they can definitely read. Then we have, I'm just going to copy all of these class traits into the ability thing, the section, and say race, I mean, that room traps, these 4 fields here on the character sheet, they are class dependent, and one of them is dependent on your strength. And they say like listen at doors, find secret door, and find room trap. And dwarves have detect room traps. They have a 2 in 6 chance, and listening at doors, they have a 2 in 6 chance as well. Everything else, open stuck doors depends on strength. Let's just look at that. Strength, open stuck doors. That's they have a 12, so that is a 2 in 6 chance. And find secret door is just 1 in 6. Okay. Let's go back to dwarf race. They also have infravision. I usually have a field here as well for senses. Infravision should be 60 feet. And then they have resilience, which increases their saving throw probabilities based on their constitution. And we have a con of 15. So 15 to 17 is a +4. So that is resilience in brackets +4. And here it says for combat, they can only use small or normal sized weapons, and they cannot use longbows or two-handed swords. I think we have everything. These class restrictions and max level, there's an optional rule where you can throw them out of the window, and I did that, so they do not apply. So we can just ignore that. Okay, that's everything for race. Now we look at class. And you can see this takes it takes a while to like write all of this down, and that's why I said I'm only going to do 2 of the characters live on camera, and then the other ones I'm going to do off screen. Okay, so clerics, they can use any armor and any blunt weapons. That's because of their beliefs. They can only use club, mace, sling, staff, and warhammer. They have turning the undead. I'm just going to copy all of them over into the ability, skills, and weapons section. Turning the undead, and divine magic, which only starts at level 2 for clerics though. So at first level, they don't have any kind of magic. They need a holy symbol. All right, let's look at the process again. The next step would be to adjust ability scores we did. Now we have to write down THAC0 score, saving throws, weapon proficiencies, and HP. Okay, so what THAC0 means is to hit armor class 0, meaning so you roll a d20, and then you add your bonus based on strength or dexterity, depending on if you are attacking in melee or if you're shooting a missile. And if you have a bonus, you add that to your d20 roll, and then you have that result, and you check that against this matrix. And let's say the enemy has an armor class of 4, meaning you have to get a 15 to hit that armor class 4. Armor class 7, you need to hit a 12 on the roll, and for 0, you need 19. Now these values, they increase or they decrease pretty much, and it depends on the class how fast they decrease. So there's a point, for example, for fighters, it's on 4th level. They then it turns from 19 to 18 to hit a armor class 0. And then on 8th level, again, it turns from 18 to 17 and so on. And this is different for every class. Okay, so they are already indoor. Now we need to get the saving throws. And these are for certain situations. So we look at cleric, scroll down, we see them here. Saving throws against death, magic wands, poison, breath weapons from dragons or any dragon-like creatures. And then that is spells, rods, and staves. Okay. So I'm just going to write them down. And do we have a, and we should have a wisdom modifier because it's 15 for saves versus magic. go into the ability score section. Wisdom 15 is a +1. Okay. So that is a +1. Okay. We go back to the method. We still need weapon proficiencies and HP. So for the weapon proficiencies, we're just going to, it's an optional rule, and it says that there are three classes of, three types of classes. It's like martial, semi-martial, and non-martial. And martial classes, they start with 4 proficiencies at first level. Semi-martial, they start with 3 proficiencies, and non-martial with 1 proficiency at level 1. And every time the THACO score improves, let's go back to the cleric and look. Cleric, they can learn 1 more proficiency. So for the cleric, from level 4 to level 5, they can learn 1 more, and they would be and they would have 4. And we know that clerics can only have these weapons. So we're just going to say he has 3 proficiencies now: a mace, a sling, and a warhammer. So the next thing was HP. So the hit die is a 1d6. So we write that down as well. Let's just roll a d6. 2 HP. I have this rule in place that a 1 and 2 is a reroll. So we reroll. 1 reroll. Holy crap. Okay, so we have 4. We have a con of 15. And a con of 15 means that we get a +1. So it's a 5 HP. We can add this here, so we know it's a +1 to hit points. Dexterity of 13 is a +1 to armor class and a +1 to missile accuracy. So that is a +1 here. And since I'm using descending armor class, I'm going to say it's a -1 to armor, because a +1 bonus to armor class actually is a -1 if you are using descending armor class. So the unarmed armor class is not 9, but 8. Then we can check the charisma modifier. They have 11, so that should be a 0. And it seems like we need an like an alignment, and clerics are usually lawful, and dwarves too. Title is still empty, and then looks good for now. The next thing would be alignment and languages. We have that already. Starting wealth and equipment. Okay, starting wealth is determined by rolling 3d6 and multiplying them by 10 gold pieces. So that's 13 times 10 is 130. Equipment for this class means armor and weapons. So let's just scroll down here. I have an armor table. This is all compiled from the OSE Advanced Tome and also from their magazine called Carcass Crawler. The items with the asterisk are from the Carcass Crawler magazine expanded list. Okay, so the cleric, I think, should have either chainmail or maybe even plate mail. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to roll a d6, and 1, 2, 3 is chainmail, and the rest is plate mail. That is chainmail. All right. Chainmail weighs 400 coins. So encumbrance in OSE is calculated by, or in coins, like everything has a weight in coin, and chainmail weighs 400 coins. Okay, so let's look at the weapons. They can use mace, sling, and warhammer, and I'm just going to say they're going to buy a sling and a warhammer. So the sling has a weight of 20 coins, and the warhammer has a weight of 30 coins. So the weight of equipment right now is 450. Now we have to subtract from the starting wealth. Warhammer is 5 gold pieces. Sling is 2, so that is 7. And then we have chainmail, that is 40, so we have 47, that means 83. Then the total weight is 553. Like, the weight affects obviously how fast they can move and stuff like that, but it's not relevant now, so I'm not going to go into detail about that. We are going to see that when it comes up in the actual play episodes. Okay, 500. It's actually 533. I'm going to save that quickly. Alrighty, next step would be to write down armor class, level, and XP. Okay, level is 1, XP 0. XP until the next level is, for the cleric, 1500. Then we need We need armor class, so armor class for chainmail, I think, is 5. And 5 minus 1 because of the dexterity is 4. So armor class is 4, which is actually pretty good. So the next step would be to have a secondary skill, which is pretty much a background. That is good for if like a role-playing question comes up, for example, like a sword breaks of one of the party members. And they have access to maybe like a forge somewhere, but there's no smith. If they have a blacksmith, like if they have someone with a secondary skill of a blacksmith in the party, then they could say, okay, this blacksmith just repairs the sword and that's fine. So we're going to roll a d100. That's a 96. And that is a woodcutter. Alrighty. That goes here. Now a character name. For this, I'm just going to go to Donjon again and go on fantasy name generator. It's a dwarf. Oh, we don't have a gender yet. I'm going to roll a d3. 1, 2, 3 is female, and 4, 5, 6 is male. It's a female dwarf. Alrighty. Write that down. Now, female dwarfs, female dwarf name. B4 doesn't sound very female, but then again, it's dwarves. Let's call her Thunder. And let's take one more name as the last name, as the clan name, so to speak. Glenine. Thunder Glenine. We have a character name, that is fine. Let me save the sheet again. So now we just have to determine age, height, weight, and sex. I'm just going to roll a couple dice for that. Okay, so let's say for the age, we're going to roll 3 d100. Dwarves, like they get to about 450, 500 years. So 201. Her age is 201. Now I rolled let's just say she's a 4 feet 3 inches, whatever. I think this is their size. I think they are around 4 feet tall. Weight, let's just say 165 pounds. And that's it for the character. We have everything, like equipment in terms of gear, I'm going to purchase for the party. Only classes like a thief, they will buy stuff they need. And saying that, the cleric definitely needs a holy symbol. Now, a holy symbol, there are 3 different variants of that. There's a normal one, I think it's made out of, I think it's silver. And then we have a golden and a wooden one. We're going to take the silver one, which is 25 gold pieces. And they need that to be able to be a cleric. So 25 gold pieces subtracted would be 58. And as I said, like a gear is purchased as a party. And only if they need something special, like a cleric needs a holy symbol, a thief needs, or don't need, but probably wants to have thieves' tools. So that is where they get that. I forgot to do one thing. We should enter the weapons here as skills too. So we're just going to say sling and warhammer. A sling has 1d4 damage. I think the warhammer has 1d6 and is melee and blunt. And then we're just going to take a quick look into the advanced tome again, because there are the descriptions for the weapons on page 94, I think it is. A sling is blunt and missile. I'm going to go into what this means in a second, and the warhammer is 1d6 blunt and melee. Okay, just going to copy that after that. And if you look at the at these values here, in a range of 5 to 40 feet, you get a +1 to your roll. From 41 to 80, you get 0, and from 81 to 160, you get a -1. Alrighty, I have reset everything, and we can make the second character. Let's start with rolling ability scores again. 3d6 down the line. That's we start good again. A 15 in strength. 15. 12 in intelligence. Is there anything on? Like, these rolls are so good. I'm just curious if I have every kind of advantage or bonus or something on here, but it doesn't seem like it. Okay, let's just go. Wisdom, 9. Dexterity, 9. Oh, Constitution, 6. That is not good. And then we have an 11 for Charisma. Honestly, that looks very much like a fighter to me. I'm just going to say this is a fighter. Let's see which class we have. We are going to, which race we have. Just going to roll a d20 again. Get an 18, and that's a human. So race is human. Now let's take a look at the human race. Just going to go here. Since we have disabled these class restrictions and max levels for the demi-human classes, which I talked about earlier, since this kind of disables the advantage that humans have in the game, because they are the only ones who can go as far as they want in level and use any class. If you look at Half-Orc, for example, here on the other side, you see that they have restrictions, and we have disabled them, and that means that this bonus for humans is gone, and they are a bit like disadvantaged compared to the other races. So to make up for that, OSE has introduced the disability modifiers, and they say +1 on charisma and +1 on constitution. So just going to put that into the character sheet. So there's a +1 on charisma and a +1 on constitution. And then we have, I'm just going to copy all of that again. And if we need to know what that means, if the situation comes up, we can just look that up in the advanced player's tome. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Humans don't have much to them. The only thing we're going to copy is the languages. The person is literate. They have an intelligence score of 12. Okay, so we said they are a fighter. Let's go to fighter. The hit die is a d8. We can already roll that. They have a constitution of 7, and the con of 7 means a -1 when you roll HP. Where's the ability scores here? Constitution 7, 6 to 8 is -1, yeah. So that is a -1. We can add all of these values here already before we roll HP. Melee bonus is a +1, I think, 13 to 15. Then we have a dexterity of 9. That should be then 0 and 0 to armor class and missile precision. That leaves the unarmored armor class on 9 as well. Now HP is a d8 -1 through the constitution modifier we have. So d8, that's a 6, so they have 5 HP. Okay. Next up is we have adjusted ability scores based on class. Now the Thaco is already in there. That's a 19 again for every class. Only difference to the cleric is that the fighter is a martial class. Their Thaco score improves every 4th level, so on level 4 and on level 7, or not on every 4th level. Okay. And let's just enter the saving throws for the fighter. That's a 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Their wisdom is 9, so they get no bonus. Charisma modifier is 0, 2. All these values are 1 for humans, except that one is based on strength, and open stuck doors with a strength of 15 is a 3 in 6 chance. Movement is already filled out. That's the same for every character. 24 miles over land, 120 feet exploration per turn, and 40 feet encounter per turn. Okay, the fighter class doesn't give anything. They can build a stronghold at any time, but this is not important for our solo campaign right now. And I think class and race are done. Next up is the alignment and languages. Let's say we roll a d6. 1, 2, 3 is neutral, is lawful, and 4, 5, 6 is neutral. So that guy is neutral. Oh, that guy, yeah. Is he female or male? 1, 2, 3 is female. He is male. Where is it? Here. Okay. Next step would be armor class level. No, we need a starting wealth and equipment. Okay, starting wealth we had 3d6 times 10. He gets 130 as well. Okay. Let's go down to armor again. He's a fighter. I'd say he's going to wear either plate mail, full plate, or chainmail. So I say 1 and 2 is chainmail, 3 and 4 is full plate, and 5 and 6 is plate mail. Chainmail. 400 weight. Now fighters can have four proficiencies, and I'm just going to determine randomly what the guy is going to have in terms of proficiencies. I'm just going to roll 4 d26. We can make a custom die here. Just going to introduce a 26-sided die and roll 4 times because the fighter starts with 4 proficiencies. So we have 18, 11, 26, and 19. So short sword, javelin. Then we have a whip. Okay. And we have a silver dagger. Okay. No ranged weapon, only, well, they can throw a dagger and they can throw a javelin. So that's fine. Okay, so fighters, I just see here, fighters experience is, the level is on 2000, next level. We need weapons. Okay, so which weapons do they actually use? I'm going to roll 2d4. Let's just make this randomly. I don't know these characters. They are new for me as well, so I'm just going to roll 2d4. They can work with 4 weapons, so we're just going to roll 2d4 and see what happens. 2 and 1. Short sword and javelin. Let's see their properties. Short sword weighs 30 and the javelin weighs 20. So they have a equipment weight of 450 and it costs them, short sword is 7, javelin is 1, so he just has, that's 8 gold, and then we have 40 gold for the armor, that's 48 gold. 82 gold left. Okay. Next step would be the armor class, level, and XP. Okay, armor class is chainmail. He has no dexterity modifier, so that's just a 4. Is it armor? No, it's a 5. Armor class of 5. Okay. Secondary skill. Reroll a d100 again. That's a 6. And the 6 is a baker. Okay. Armor proficiencies as any. And that looks actually fine. I'm just going to add a short sword and the javelin here. Alrighty. I think that is actually it for the character. The only thing we need now is a name and then the traits. So a name, we go just on Donjon again. Really like these random generators there. Human male name. Let's just go with Wincis Pethy. Age, height, weight, and sex. So sex we already have, that is male. Age is going to be, let's roll 3d20. Oh, okay, 20 years old. His height is whatever, 6'2" or something. Well, let's make him 6'4". A bit taller person. And his weight is, let's just roll 2d100. 144. That is, it's fine. Rather slim character, but okay. And that is it for the second character. Okay, so as I said, I am going to make the other 6 characters now off screen. Alrighty, I am back, and as you can see, I have created 6 more characters, and I put them all into the spreadsheet I made. We have a couple of fighters, we have a magic user, a ranger, a paladin, and a cleric, and a thief. Couple females, couple males. They are between 20 and 226 years old. And the next step would be now to determine their leader, and that's pretty simple. You usually just take the one that has the highest charisma or that is the oldest. And I would say the leader will be the elf. Ealanon Ladaya. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that one in bold and italic, and that's the leader. Next step would be to determine if they have a benefactor. Okay, so the benefactor, yes, they have one. I just say they have one, and now you can just say they like invest 600 gold pieces or 500 or whatever. I'm going to roll that. So we roll 1d8 times 100 gold pieces. So let's bring back the roller. We roll a d8. And if it's very low, like let's say under 200, then I'm going to just re-roll that. Okay, so let's just roll. And we get a 7. Let's just take the first roll. I had a 2 set here, so let's just take the first roll. That's a 7, and that times 100, that's 700 gold pieces. Alrighty, we are going to put that into the overview tab in the party inventory. They have 700 gold pieces. Now, obviously, that benefactor wants to have a return on their investments. So I'm going to roll a d6, and then it's either going to be that they want 1d20 plus 9% of their investment, or like 1d10 plus 5% of the treasure that is found. And then the last one would be a quest which the party has to fulfill first before they get that investment. And since I want them to have the investment now, I'm just going to say we only take the first two options and we roll a d2. 1 is the first option and 2 is the second option. So they want 1d10 plus 5%. Let's roll a d10. Okay, 1d10. That is a 2, so they want 7% of the treasure that is found as a return on their initial investment. And after they got home with the first treasure, they will then see if this relation continues, if the benefactor will make further investments, or if this was just a one-time thing. With the 700 gold pieces, we are going to purchase some equipment packs I have made, and they mostly consist out of OSE items. I added a couple of my own items. And I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can see the entire table. This is all the equipment that OSE brings. Own items are marked with 1 asterisk. Items from the expanded list are marked with 2 asterisks. And the ones that don't have an asterisk are from the Advanced Fantasy Tome of OSE. These packs I compiled myself, and we're just going to buy an outdoor equipment pack for the party, which is 98 gold. We are going to buy a climbers pack, 2 climbers packs for the party, which are around 260 gold, both of them. And then we will purchase 2 food packs for the party, which is food for 2 weeks for 4 people. So in total it will be for 8 people if we purchase 2 of them. And then like the mappers pack we don't need. Okay, so let's just enter that. We are going to buy 2 outdoor equipment packs, which is 2 tents per pack, and a couple of other items for outdoor survival, outdoor travels, and just going to enter them in the spreadsheet. Okay, next one is the climbers pack for the party, 2 of them, and then we have a food pack, and maybe I buy 5 of them, 3 of them. That would be, for these we have 112 gold pieces. The climbers packs were 264 in total, I think. And the outdoor equipment pack is 98 times 2, so 196. That in total is, I'm just going to make it easy for me, 572. So we have a remaining gold amount of 128. Now that I think of it, I might also purchase a dungeoneering pack. That should be here as well. And I'm going to resolve these packs into the individual items later on as well. So that one costs 86, and then we have 142, 42 gold. Alrighty, I think that's it for the episode. We have done everything we wanted. I'm just going to scroll back one more time to the process document. And talking about the document, I'm going to put that stuff on my Patreon account. It's going to take a couple of days though, because I have to check out how that works with the open game license. I am not entirely sure, and I don't want to get into trouble over some licensing issues, so I'm going to check that out over the next days, and then I'm going to put up the document on my Patreon. So it's going to go live a couple of days after this video has been published. I'm going back to camera main mode, so to speak. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you get something out of that. You know now how to create characters in Old School Essentials. And since my way of making an adventuring party is pretty system agnostic, you can probably use that for any kind of game system. Just the character creation will obviously be different from system to system. But even then, most OSR style games have somewhat of a similar way of making characters. At least they put the focus on the same items. If you want to see more of this about the Old School Essentials rule set, or about making characters or parties, or what they can be used for if they aren't played by players, but by you in a solo campaign, or also in your normal campaigns, because you need other parties there as well, right? As I said before, they can be an awesome competition to your players' party when they go for a dungeon, or maybe like an opposition party that is like an adventuring party that comes from the bad side, from the evil side, and wants to get rid of your players. Could be as well. I, again, thank you for watching, and I'd say see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.